How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be featuring the Azurlane Chapayev. Recently featured this ship on the channel, basically right after it got nerfed. I think it was just the reload going from like 8 seconds to 9 seconds. 1 second, pretty big percentage, but honestly not the end of the world because El Chapayev's strengths are its high penetration value for the HE shells, high alpha, and well, having those two combined, you kind of chunk everything that you're shooting at. And since you still have a fire chance with 12 guns each shell, even though it has a low fire chance because there's so many, your fire chance is actually higher than what is advertised. And realistically, it's sort of the same argument I make with EOP. Even though EOP reduces your fire chance by 50% on stuff like Cleveland, or I guess Tech Tree Chapayev as well, whatever has EOP and 12 guns reloads quick enough, you can sort of make up for the fire chance just by having a fast reload and so many guns. Kind of what Chapayev just gets for free. You could technically take more fire chance skills and then give El Chapayev even better fire chance, but the commander that I am using makes more use of HE damage rather than fire chance. And honestly, if you really wanted to run EOP on El Chapayev, I don't recommend it because there's not really a reason to do it, especially at this tier. There's not that many ships that you're going to start penning and I guess technically doing more damage to. A lot of it is 32, and I mean if you're top tier facing lower tier ships, battleships at lower tiers have 25 or 26 millimeters of armor, which you will smash anyway. So not really a reason to use EOP on this, but on stuff like Cleveland, going from 25 millimeters of pen to 32, that's a pretty good threshold that you can, I guess, pass. You pass the 27 and 30 and 32, I guess, and I guess can make up for some damage that you would be shattering otherwise. And then it's kind of like an El Chapayev, although I think fully packed on ships like that would be much better, simply because I guess radar, heal, more survivability, being able to find destroyers when your destroyers fail you is a little more valuable. But then El Chapayev, since you have that baked into the ship, you get to have fully packed all your radars, heals, everything you basically want, and don't really have to trade anything. Other ships would have to trade fully packed for EOP, but we get EOP for free, and we get to keep fully packed. Not sure what they were really thinking. I mean, all we really traded was fire chance, but again, 12 guns, quick reload, more than makes up for the low fire chance. Obviously, having a higher fire chance, you can essentially burn down a lot of battleships, increasing your damage. But El Chapayev, penning ships, not necessarily doing the light damage that can be healed 100%. Penetration damage can only be healed 50%, so you're doing more effective damage, which I'm pretty sure from what was explained by Blip, unhealable damage awards you more XP than healable damage. So fires, since it's healable, won't do as much or give you as much XP as doing penetrations, which having El Chapayev's higher HE alpha and ridiculously high penetration values, I mean, arguably you should be getting better XP, especially if you're actually able to find a destroyer. Unfortunately, in this match, destroyer was on the other side of the map and died very quickly. Not ideal, but either way, we're getting to essentially just stomp this flank. Edinburgh died. Not really sure why he charged in the way he did, but he did. We were doing decent chunks. Tech Tree Chapayev definitely wouldn't be able to do that damage because for some reason Edinburgh has 30 millimeters of armor. I don't agree with that ship having that armor. Not sure why it does, because I mean you do have a smoke to increase survivability, and that's kind of the whole gimmick of that line. Super squishy ships, but you have a smoke and really good AP, at least for the penetration angles and its DPM. If people angle, obviously your DPM just goes out the window, but that's more or less what happens with everything in their in the tech tree, including Minotaur. But yeah, I guess that's argument for another time. But either way, as it stands, Tech Tree Chapayev would not have been doing nearly as much to well, I guess realistically, all of these cruisers. Edinburgh 30, Baltimore 27, Tech Tree Chapayev only pens 25. Azuma also has 30 millimeters of armor on its deck, so we realistically shouldn't be penning, but free EOP. Actually, it's technically better than EOP, because EOP on Tech Tree Chapayev would only be getting it to 32 millimeters of armor for the HE pen, but we're sitting at 37, which we don't realistically pass that many more thresholds. I think there's some ships with 35, but for the most part, I mean, it's still technically baked in EOP. I'm glad they didn't give it 38, because then all the American battleships would have been guaranteed to, well, be chunked way more than they really should. I don't think there's a lot of ships at tier 7 that actually has that much pen. I think just the Germans with the quarter pen on their 203s, which pen, what is it, 51, I think? And I guess technically Congress as well, because it's 305s, probably Azuma as well. But a lot of ships really wouldn't be getting chunked as badly. And since there's no trade-off, stuff like Amagi, Vanguard, the French battleships get absolutely wrecked by an AL Chapayev. I mean, they can overmatch with their AP, but at the same time, kiting cruisers, not always the easiest to hit. When reversing Iowa, unfortunate that he's reversing. I think a lot of the times when ships are reversing, we actually do end up hitting their turrets more than their superstructure. Possibly something I need to, I don't know if it's learn or figure out to aim higher, because we could then be getting a lot more damage if we actually did. But also, Iowa dived with the Azuma, and I guess a P-bag that actually went to the other flank. Not sure why he reversed so far away at the start. I mean, basically when we were at sea, he was still reversing as far away as he could, which allowed us to simply surround and dumpster his div mate Azuma. Atlantico just charged straight through. Azuma couldn't really do anything. I think if Iowa was a bit closer, obviously tanking damage, Azuma might have survived. Iowa would be landing more shells and probably be doing more damage. But yeah, I don't know. Obviously, this has sort of turned into a steamroll. I mean, their other flank is now getting stomped after this side has been stomped. And I mean, Tirpitz about to die. And I think there's an Aegir somewhere who is, well, gonna be our next target, since the Prevention and P-bag are taking the scenic route around A and not really going to be able to, I guess, help their Aegir. This match has been kind of like, I mean, I guess we've been focusing down one ship at a time. Like, our whole team has been focusing one ship. First it was Edinburgh, then Baltimore, then Azuma, then Iowa. Kind of good teamwork, I guess. Aegir, another ship with 30 millimeters of armor on its deck, and I guess 100 something on its belt. But as long as we shoot the superstructure, I mean, we're probably going to hit the deck, hit a superstructure, and do pretty big chunks, which, I mean, you can see that we're doing. Epic mod, kind of getting us the reload that we lost from the nerf. And, yeah, I mean, this is pinnacle AL Chapayev gameplay. Nothing that any ship can really do against its HE, because we just target the parts of the ship that we can still pen, even if it does have better armor technically, and they just simply get melted. Not that there's anything the Aegir would have been able to do, since we still have so many teammates alive and he was the closest, but now it's just the P-bag and Prevention both don't actually have good enough armor to even shatter Tech Tree Chapayev. But the chunks that we're about to do, especially because they're pretty healthy, so saturation hasn't really kicked in. I mean, yeah, not a whole lot that they can do. Kind of a good example of why the nerf to AL Chapayev, I mean, even though it was relatively substantial, still doesn't change much about the ship. I mean, I guess we're technically doing less damage, because if we were in fact reloading with 1 second faster reload, I mean, that's still a huge chunk of DPM, but we're still having this ridiculous DPM, and actually effective DPM, because we do actually do damage rather than shatter on a bunch of ships. I am going to make a mistake here, because I kind of got greedy to focus down these cruisers that have kind of a lot of HP with our HE. And that is sailing in the same direction as the ship that we're, I guess, chasing. because while we're chasing a ship, if we're sailing in the same direction, we have to give a little more broadside to use all of our guns, because obviously we need to lead them. So this mistake here, P-Bag makes the right decision to switch to AP. I realized my mistake, and I mean we do get chunked, so we just start turning in to I guess chase his stern, so that instead of us having to turn more broadside, he has to turn more broadside because we can stay angled and it's easier for us to get all of our guns on target. But we don't actually get to turn and I guess force him to be more broadside because our HE Alpha just simply melts him way too quickly. And unfortunately, not a whole lot of time left in this match to go and chase down a Provincian now. But I mean, we already did the damage in this match and it was pretty bad. Yeah. Chapayev. I feel like they should reduce the HE pen maybe to 30 at the most. Realistically, don't think this ship should be doing that much, or maybe even just change the HE to sap, because I don't know if that's what they were trying to go for, doing more damage with the alternate ammunition than AP. I mean, if it was sap, I guess it would be a little more balanced. I mean, sure, I think technically sap would do more damage than the current HE, but then you wouldn't have the fire chance, but you would have the pen, and there is still a way to angle. I don't know. Not sure what they could realistically do to the ship without killing it. Probably better to give it sap and make it unique rather than what it is currently. I think it just has a little too much going for it realistically. But yeah. Not the end of the world. This nerf to Chapayev. Still good. Still ridiculously high HE Alpha. I mean, Epic mod and I guess Ledge mod could technically make up for the nerf pretty good. Although I guess previously having maxed out Epic or Ledge mod maybe made it too busted. But at least we can still technically go back to what it was. But yeah, same build as last time. I mean, ridiculous HE Alpha. Just build into HE. There's nothing that they could realistically do against it. And, well, you'll more than be fine. As you can see, our HE Alpha is higher than the AP. Yeah, but anyway, that's really all I have for you in this video. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more and share it with your friends. Or leave a comment down below on other ships you want to see in the future. But anyway, till next time, aloha.